Coliseum. Here we are, together.
We get up early in the morning.
Even friends or families here.
It's game day, and this place is special.
This is Bill King at the Oakland Coliseum, the home of the Oakland Raiders.
History lives here.
Number 41, Philadelphia.
Great defense! Holy Toledo! The place has done well!
The players.
Intercepted Brown.
Back is Plunkett.
On the run. Touchdown.
That's 1,000 catches for Tim
The
Brown.
moments.
It looks like Terrence Davis. He's been knocked. The Oakland Coliseum is
Oakland Raiders have punched their ticket to the postseason.
And of course, the fans. Raiders! Pride and poise. Commitment to excellence. Raider Nation, it's Oaktown, baby.
And live from Johnny Donut Studios, the official podcast from Johnny Donut Studios. You are watching the Bad Bomber Podcast. I can hear it. It's doubling again. So Oracle's guy has technical difficulties right now. So while he's getting his stuff, we had a tough afternoon here, fellas. We had one of the computers go down. And I'm a boomer, straight up boomer, and I had to figure it out. So it was hilarious watching the boomer going back and trying to be technical. But I'm pretty much one of the best computer people in the world, maybe top 5 at best. So I just got a text message, just personally. Maybe the Raider fans did it too. But the Raiders, at 5:09 p.m. The Las Vegas Raiders have signed unrestricted free agent Kirk Cousins. I think we all knew that. And so we're going to go into a little bit of Kirk Cousins. Let's see if the Oracle's ready. Oracle, you good? Oracle. Okay, so Oracle's still using his technical difficulties. So I don't know how you guys felt about the Kirk Cousins signing. A lot of people out there expect Fernando Mendoza to be the number 1 draft choice for the Raiders. A lot of people, including myself, wanted him to come in and start day one and see Drake May, see Bo Nix, see Jaden Daniels, and a lot of people have been a little bit reluctant to say this, but you know, when you go out and you're a guy and you just go out and you buy a nice new Maserati, the last thing you want to do is bring it and put it in the garage. You want to drive that car. So what I'm thinking is that since the Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys, the chips have fallen for the Raiders all the way through. We get the number 1 pick. We are very diligent about getting Clint Kubiak. We waited till we were the last chip to fall. So when that chip fell, when we got Clint Kubiak, right as we were getting Clint Kubiak, I was at the Clint Kubiak press conference in Henderson. And John Spytek said that day, because he was asked, everybody's asking about Fernando Mendoza, and he said that day, ultimately we'd like to have him sit and learn. And I know it was like, okay, behind AOC. And I was like, okay. Maybe he's just saying that. Maybe they're playing games and shit. So then Clint Kubiak last week in his press conference on Tuesday said the same thing. He says, ultimately, we'd like to get somebody in here to have someone be they called it the adult in the room, is the exact quote that Clint Kubiak said. And then a lot of the people in the press conference were asking him, hey, do you want this guy to be his mentor? And he goes, no, I don't want him to teach anything. He needs to come in here and win. He needs to learn how to get us wins. He needs to go ahead and mentor he needs to be the adult in the room to show what's going on on the field, how to be a professional in the locker room, outside the locker room. And I'm sure he's going to want him to show him how to make those throws. And again, we're running a new offense. We're going to go to a zone blocking offense, and this is something new for the Raiders. So Tyler Linderbaum is probably the only person besides maybe Charles Grant also did it in college. So you're going to have a lot of guys learning how to block in the zone blocking. So as I thought about it more and more and more, I was a little bit more, okay, let's see if the Oracle's ready. Oracle, you ready?
How can you hear me, Johnny?
You are not echoing anymore. You don't sound like you're at a 1980s Frank Zappa concert. You're actually on safe. So Oracle, what I was alluding to here, and I'm sure we talked about this earlier, is I've already went through my rant about the Drake May stuff. But what I wanted to say is, and remember, Kubiak was like, we need an adult in the room. That was his exact words about as he was talking. And that I'm sure that they were talking to Kirk Cousins. From what I understood, they've been pursuing him this whole time. And we'll talk a little bit about his contract and how now because of the Raiders, we may change some rules on contracts. So we got at 5:09, we got the adult in the room. He's officially a Raider. And the contract we'll talk about later. It doesn't mean much to me other than we are only paying him 1.8 this year and $10 million next year for a 1-year contract. We're deferring $10 million for the 11.8 that we are on the hook for. Atlanta's on the hook for the rest. But what I find comforting is that even though I want to drive the Maserati, that's the new car, the Fernando Mendoza Maserati, I think there's a lot of us out there that were like, hey, we want to drive the Maserati. But and I was saying this, Oracle, while you were getting your gears under you, is that since the Giants beat the Cowboys, everything's fallen to the Raiders. We talked about Kubiak, the last chip fall. We got him. We got the coach we wanted and everybody else wanted. We traded Max Crosby. We got Max Crosby back. I mean, that was my Christmas present for the next 5 years. I hated when Crosby left, and now he's back. You go out, you get into Kobe Dean, Quay Walker, Kwity Paye, Taron Johnson. You get some defensive pieces in here. Now, since the Giants, I'm going to call that the day of glory. Since that happened, Oracle, the Raiders have acted like the adult in the room finally. They've been the adult in the room. They say what they do. They do what they say. They don't bring in, somebody that we're not going to, like, why is the Heat coming here? They've been the adult in the room. So I was going to play this, but since Oracle had difficulties, I'm just going to play the end of this. So Kirk Cousins, this is I did my research on Kirk Cousins. What you're getting is a lot of Derek Carr. And this is his red zone touchdowns, all of them for the year. So enjoy them. They don't last long. It's going to be, I'm sorry, guys, and I'm going to end with this, and then I'm going to let Oracle have one quick word, and then we get to round 2. We are on round 2 tonight. And there is going to be a quarterback controversy if Fernando Mendoza isn't starting. And I love they brought Kirk Cousins in now to compete with Fernando Mendoza, or else he would have been competing with AOC. And with this new offense coming in, and with him having some, I know you were probably going to allude to this, Oracle, and you still can, with him having a little bit of a relationship with Clint Kubiak and having his best years with Clint Kubiak. And, well, John Jefferson doesn't hurt either. But or Justin Jefferson, John Jefferson, he was a Charger. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I have a little bit more as reluctant as I was maybe 2 weeks ago. Kubiak said he wanted him to be behind the adult in the room. Spytek said it during the presser. Remember that, Oracle? So they've been consistent on how they want to build this team. And I'm okay with it. But if Raider Nation, there's going to be a quarterback controversy next year. If Cousins comes out, and let's just say Cousins comes out and the Raiders are 4-2 or 3-1, okay? There's still going to be your TMZ reporters, and you know who they are. They're going to be, when do we mean Mendoza? We're wasting Mendoza. And or flip the page, it becomes 1-3 and 1-4 or 2-4, and let's say the 2 wins are away games, and you have a couple of stinkers at home. There's going to be a quarterback controversy. So the good news is they have the adult in the room. The adult in the room. Cousins is coming to a similar situation as when Michael Penix was there, not the number 1 pick, but he was still the savior, the savior. And it was a little different then because they gave Kirk Cousins all that money. So Oracle, before we get on to your great, you and the Oracle has some great picks tonight that he wants to talk about in the second round. Oracle, finish it off because you so eloquently do. Talk to me about your true feelings about Kirk Cousins.
Well, I think you brought up a word that could be a little triggering to Raider fans, and that's the word compete. And with a quarterback competition, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. And I really believe that Tom Brady has a lot to do with this, because I'll never forget when Tom Brady went on the Colin Cowherd show and he talked about how quarterback development is at an all-time low right now. So you best believe that in the meetings that Tom Brady is zoomed in on, whether it's him and John Spytek and probably Mark Davis and some other guys that are in the room, I bet you that Tom Brady has a plan for how Fernando Mendoza wants to be developed. And never forget that Tom Brady did not start his rookie year. He came in as a 6th-round pick. He was under Drew Bledsoe, and he was at one point the 4th quarterback in the depth chart, but New England saw something in him there. They kept him around. And we all know the rest of the story with Tom Brady. But I think this is a very good opportunity for Fernando Mendoza to maybe go out and win a starting job his rookie year, because ever since the national championship game, where that was the last test that Fernando Mendoza had to face against Miami, and when he passed that test and won the national championship, all the Raider fans got excited and were like, you know what, we got our guy, and we believe we have a guy that could come in and start week 1. But now I think that this is an opportunity for a lot of organizations. They see a rookie quarterback as a guy, as an opportunity to get a guy on a cheap deal, and anywhere from a 3-year contract, because you can get extended after 3 years, to a 5-year contract because you have the 5th-year option for first-round picks. You could have what's a quote-unquote manageable salary for a quarterback. So that means a lot of people and a lot of teams see it as, we got to really be able to maximize having our quarterback under a cheap deal, kind of like what the Tennessee Titans are doing this year. They have Cam Ward on a rookie contract for anywhere from 2 to 4 more years. So they're going to spend a lot of money in free agency and build a team around them and see what they have in Cam Ward. But, at the same time, part of the investment in your quarterback, in your asset that you're going to be getting with Fernando Mendoza, is being able to, get him to compete a little bit. Let's go see, and let's not be scared about it either.
Right,
a lot of teams, they're scared of competition. Oh my God, what is the TMZ podcasters going to say? What articles are they going to write? Is the noise going to get to the quarterback's head? And I think the Raiders should be under the mantra that we don't care about what TMZ podcasters have to say. We don't care what national media has to say, because we're focused on ourselves And that's what all successful organizations do. They focus on themselves. They don't get caught up in the noise, and they care about developing the personnel that's best for their team. And competition often brings out the best in people. So I think this is a very good opportunity for Fernando Mendoza to go out and win the starting job. If he doesn't win the starting job, it's an opportunity for him to overcome a little adversity and continue to keep getting better. Now, I'll say this. I think if in training camp, if it's close, I would go with Mendoza, because if it's close, you might as well go with the guy who's younger and let's get it started. But if Kirk Cousins is significantly better, then I would start Cousins. But you, at the end of the day, you can't fool the players on this on the rest of the 52 players on the roster. And they're going to know who the better quarterback is in camp. And the training camp will determine who's going to be the starter on week 1. You know, I saw Vinny Bonsignore, and I respect him a lot, say that, you know, I still think Mendoza's going to win the job and Kirk Cousins is going to be a high-priced insurance policy. Well, let's not try to be fortune tellers right now. Let's have training camp go out and determine who's going to be the starter.
Right. And just to end, here's a great comment, guys, after all these years. Poor quarterback play. I'll take this quarterback controversy and fully embrace it. Absolutely. The last thing said, though, I disagree. I'm going to go devil's advocate and disagree with you on that. If it's close at the end, I know that I can plug and play Mendoza. And this is totally against everything that I've been pumping, but I just think that in the first month of the season, they're going to show the young guy as much. And actually, they're going to show Kirk Cousins as many different fronts, as many different blitz packages. And that's when that's where I feel more comfortable having the young guy go, okay, this is what happened here. To see when he scraped over and they did this stunt, you got to, and I'm sure Mendoza will be able to pick that up. So if it's close, I would still probably want Cousins, because that means that he's chasing that. He's right on his tail. So, Oracle, as always, I love it when you finish my sentences. You make me look good. And thanks a lot for getting that boomer stuff figured out. So here we are. We are going to go with the Oracle's pick, because tonight we have a new segment. We're calling it Wyatt's Red Zones, because did I think of it? Somebody thought of it, but anyway, Wyatt's Red Zone, brought to you by Johnny's Donuts. And so Wyatt's going to have we don't even know who he's going to pick. I do, but everybody else doesn't. So Oracle, put your John Spytek hat on. That's a black hole hat. That's not Spytek's hat. Okay.
Hey, Spytek better be wearing a black hole hat.
Or Steven Chavez will bust that. You know what?
Yeah, he'll drive down from Sacramento.
And the Raiders with the 36th selection select
C.J. Allen, linebacker out of the University of Georgia.
Oh, now, I know
what you're saying. The Raiders just brought in 2 Bulldogs already. We're going to bring in a 3rd Bulldog? Well, let's think about this for a second. I mean, let's think about the other linebackers that we have on the roster. There's Tommy Eichenberg. Let's say Nakobe Dean gets hurt, which is prone to happen. Who's going to be the other linebacker? Is it Tommy Eichenberg? Do you want that? Is it Corey Lindenberg? Do you want that? Is it Segan Olubi, who's mostly a special teams player? Is it Jamin Davis, who the Raiders have, but we don't really know what he's going to bring to the Raiders?
Right. I agree with that.
So, and I'm a big believer in drafting best player available. And people could look about, the Raiders need a nose tackle to run a 3-4. The Raiders need another safety. The Raiders need another corner. And I agree with all of that. I'm not here to discount any of that. But at the end of the day, when you have an opportunity to select any player in a draft, I always want the guy who I could go to sleep that night saying, I got the best available player that I feel comfortable with. And C.J. Allen, to me, is a guy who I think could be available at pick 36. He's starting to, I don't like to say fall down boards a lot, because I think more often than not, it's teams kind of assess the player and they think maybe it's not that he's not exactly what we thought he was. But I think this is a guy who is tremendous and needs to be paid attention to, Johnny.
I'm a CJ Allen guy, have been. A lot of us, a lot of people that watch football, there's not a lot of guys that can watch every game, every team, everybody. But the SEC is very easy to watch. That and the Big 12 are very easy to watch. If you're, when I hear guys talk to me about, oh, this guy from Toledo, when did you see the game? Again, when I watch games, I like to watch the games and see, okay, did CJ Allen play against their second string quarterback? Obviously he's in the SEC, so he's going to see the cream of the crop. And what I see with CJ Allen is a guy who can tackle really, really well. I'm a big fan of, again, we just talked about how the Raiders have done everything right so far. I agree with you on this pick on CJ Allen. Right now, you don't have depth at linebacker. You went out and got great linebackers. Your starting linebackers are great. Sagan Olubi, he could probably, if anything, he's going to play on the outside. Eichenberg and Lindenberg are more of the Mike-style linebackers that are going to come at you, try to go downhill. They're not going to be in coverage. They can't cover very well. Eichenberg does a better job than Lindenberg. Both of them are excellent special teamers, and they're going to be on the team. So this is a good chance for both of the Bergs to learn how to play linebacker, because literally, Oracle, put your wizard hat on. When was the last time the Raiders had a true linebacker? I'm not even going to ask you when the last time they drafted a linebacker and kept it, but the Raiders have not had a linebacker that's been that dominant. We had Denzel Perryman, who's basically on MASH unit. He's always hurt with something. And, he's a small guy. We're going to talk about a smaller guy later, Oracle, but I'm not telling you who it is. And but Vontaze Burfict. Do you remember Vontaze Burfict?
Oh, of course I do.
I loved Vontaze Burfict. He was a Raider. Remember when he rang Antonio Brown's bell in the playoffs? Basically,
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just put him into surgery, right into surgery. I really do like having some homegrown linebackers, and I believe that you nailed it on this. We don't have depth. We don't have depth at linebacker, and if you're waiting for UDFAs, there you go again, looking at the bottom of the scrap pile. What a linebacker is to the defense is what a quarterback is to the offense. They've got to be very, very instinctive. They've got to be some of the smartest guys on the room. And you guys who are texting me, if you guys can like and subscribe right now, I'm getting a lot of text messages, which I love. But if you can like and subscribe, get on YouTube, I can actually show everybody your great text messages. So, CJ Allen, what do you think he'll do? Where do you think he'll play for the Raiders?
To me, he's a Mike linebacker. And what I really like about him is his instincts. And you said it right there. To me, instincts is one of the most underrated things in the NFL draft when you're really evaluating linebackers, because we could talk about size and speed all we want, but if you don't have instincts, you're going to be a step or two behind. And even though you have that size or speed, you're not getting there at the appropriate time. And football is a game of seconds and inches. And if you're seconds and inches behind, then you're going to be behind. And if you're seconds and inches ahead, that could make up for some of the athletic limitations that CJ Allen does have. And that's why he's being talked about as a guy who's falling out of the first round, is because he's not that great athlete that, let's say, a Sonny Styles is or an Anthony Hill is.
Right.
But to me, he is, and even over Sonny Styles, he is the most instinctive linebacker in the draft. This is a guy who was a true junior, 3-year starter at Georgia, and he's a guy that was the kind of a coach on the field. And I think with Nakobe Dean, I think this will be a great opportunity for them to be paired together.
I agree. And you know what? It's kind of funny because we always talk about, patterns in football. I mean, back in the day, Baltimore was the first ones that would go like this. And with the third pick, the Baltimore Ravens select, and they'd be like, next best player from the SEC. Him. With the fourth, we'll take him. These guys were doing Ron Wolf after Ron Wolf was Ron Wolf. So Ron Wolf, best player available, best player available, best player available. I mean, that's kind of the way that he did it. That's why the Raiders were so solid for those years in the 70s, because when they did get rid of Upshaw or Dalby, they already had a center, Upshaw or Jim Otto. They had a Dalby or a Mickey Marvin ready to come in, or a Don Mosbar waiting to come in. These guys were always getting the best player available. And those best players, especially in the trenches, not the sexier picks, they're there. And CJ Allen, I think you nailed this one, Oracle. I'm excited for CJ Allen. And I know we have another linebacker coming in soon that I'm not telling you about when we have the red zone brought to you by Johnny's Donuts coming in a little while. So CJ Allen, one thing I did notice in the presser last week, Oracle, put your Clint Kubiak hat on. He doesn't wear a hat. So what I did notice about Clint Kubiak, what he said is, did you notice what he thought was a need where he wanted to get more depth on?
Was it safety?
That was what. So they were out. He answered every question. And before we get into that, I want you to like and subscribe right now, guys. Do the likes, do the subscribes. We are getting real close. I've been saying that. I think we're closer. But what you've seen two pressers now from Clint Kubiak. I want you to. I'm going to finish off this sentence for you. What is your opinion of Clint Kubiak? What do the Raider fans get to look forward to on his Monday morning, Sunday after game press conferences and midweek press conferences? What do you see from our new head coach?
I think he's a guy who's very matter of fact, and he's not going to go out there, give you bulletin board material. He's just going to kind of lay down everything that's going on, very analytical thinker. And I don't think he's going to be a big distraction. I don't think we're going to ever have a press conference where it's like, oh, Clint Kubiak said this, and they're going to be talking about it by, let's say, Dan Orlovsky or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's going to be something where we're going to get a guy who's all football, very serious, faith, family football.
Yep.
And I like that. I think we're getting kind of I don't want to compare anyone to Bill Belichick, but I think we're getting kind of someone with that kind of personality at the press conference, which isn't, but maybe not in the kind of a-hole way that Belichick
No,
does.
it's a stoic. He's a stoic guy. What I do like that he does just as, and I love it, that I've seen this in a lot of coaches, is that he lets the question finish and then he responds. He isn't getting no. That guy's already been I haven't even finished my sentence yet. Let me speak. Okay. He's very stoic, and so he said in his press conference, because they were coming at him all from every way, about Fernando. He wouldn't commit to Fernando Mendoza other than he said he was gonna, that looks like they're going for quarterback. That's the reason why he said he wanted an adult in the room. But he was very certain about one position, and that was safety. He says, the exact question was, are you happy with the safety room? And he said, no. He said, I'd like to get more depth in the safety room. There's a lot of safeties in this draft. So that's where it's a little tricky on this number 30, pick 36. We've already heard that if they do take a nose tackle, then it's going to be a lot more 3-4. They're not going to be doing more of the 3-3 or the 52 or where they're rushing 5. I don't think they're taking a nose tackle. I don't. I believe that that's what they want to do, is they want more versatile guys. I think they're happy with having Butler, Wilson, Laulu, and Hemingway and Pegues. I think that they're solid in that room. I think they are solid up front, and but let's see. So going to your next player, put your John Spytek hat back on. Let me do the ESPN. Ding, ding, ding. The selection. The pig is in. I mean, the pick is in. I always say the pig is in. The pick is in with the 36th pick and the 2026 NFL draft. The Las Vegas Raiders select
Christian Miller,
who?
defensive tackle out of Georgia. Now,
What?
this might be this. Yeah, this is going to get some reaction from people. And the more I think about it, if he's still on the board and picked with the third round pick, this could be a quote unquote steal, but maybe a reach in round 2. But I like this guy a lot. I actually like him more than Lee Hunter because I think he has a little bit more upside as a pass rusher. The thing with Georgia defensive linemen is they don't play a ton of snaps because they have so much talent on that defensive line. They're able to rotate guys in and out. Now, he doesn't offer much as a pass rusher initially, but I think he's got the athleticism to maybe grow into that a little bit more. And look, with the depth the Raiders have on their D-line right now with Crosby, Kuntz, Kwity Paye, Tyree Wilson, he will be kind of that two-down nose tackle, but I don't really think they have a guy who's really a true nose tackle other than J.J. Pegues. I think Adam Butler and Thomas Booker are more 3 techniques, but to really have a 1 technique that could play just a couple of snaps, because that's really all he played was he didn't play a whole lot of snaps at Georgia. I think Christian Miller could really fit that role and excel.
Watch this play right here. I was watching this earlier. Watch this play. He's right here. He's over the guard. Watch this dip he does. This guy's a big guard he's playing against. Look at that. Boom.
Yeah.
That is special. I mean, he seems like he has great feet. From all accounts, this guy's he's got a motor that doesn't stop, and he's always in the backfield, even with bigger guys. He's always in the backfield.
Right. And he's 315 pounds, and he's 6'4", and sometimes he has some pad level issues, but that could easily be correctable. But
easy.
I like his upside, and I think he could really give you something against the run. And he's also a year younger than Lee Hunter as well, which is something I like. And he might be best player available in round 2 if you maybe CJ Allen and some other guys go off the board. But I think at pick 3, I think if he's still on the board, I think he might be a little too good to pass up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then again, you're getting your Georgia guy, which, and I mean, oh, there's Ty Simpson. Here's the guy that's better than Mendoza right there. And here he is again. Look at that. Don't you wish you had him? Okay.
Easy now.
Come on. He's okay. Okay. You know what? Calm down, Johnny. Yesterday was Easter. And so, guys, we have a new segment called the Red Zone.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy's going to bring it, but I wanted to call it the whipping post because me and Oracle are going to beat him up. No, we're not. We love this kid. But straight out of Sacramento. This is we're going to start with the Red Zone. Look at that hat. Okay, Oracle, what's that hat again? Oracle knows what it is.
That is an Albuquerque Isotopes hat. Now, Wyatt, what do you?
Wyatt, how did he know that?
I have no idea. Honestly, the first person that's actually known that team that I've come across.
And he couldn't have Googled it. It's not something he could Google.
Super niche.
I'm telling you, the Oracle is AI. He is just totally AI. All right, we do have a little bit of time where Oracle made his points quick. I wanted to ask you, Wyatt, before you get into your pick, and Oracle doesn't know your pick, so I was very impressed. But you have been listening to the show. I've been watching you in the background there, playing with your blinds there. You wanted to get him see how Oracle has his picture cocked. We get a lot of comments about that. So, a lot of comments. So, what do you think about Kirk Cousins?
So, I mean, Kirk Cousins coming in, I think it's definitely a good move for the Raiders because, like you guys were talking about earlier, they're implementing the new zone blocking scheme for the offensive line. And it's not like it's just going to be an instant, home run, move. It's going to take time for the guys to gel. the guys from last year transitioning schemes. And I just don't think that they can afford letting Mendoza right away, unless he obviously blows that out of the water at camp. Like, go out there and just get, just blown up week 1, week 2, week 3, right away, right off the season. And I think Kirk Cousins coming in, he brings like a veteran mentor type of role that he can kind of implement with Mendoza as well. So I think it's just kind of a long-term move for the Raiders, as in like obviously it would be nice to go on a deep playoff run next year, but it's kind of like a move that to me kind of signals that they're kind of in this one for the long haul, and they're trying to do what's best for like the long-term future of the organization as well as the short term.
And they said that, and that's what they're saying. And again, since the Giants beat the Cowboys, I have not had any problems with what the Raiders have done, and so we'll I agree with you 100%. So we are in Wyatt's Red Zone, brought to you by Johnny's Donuts. Tomorrow, go by and grab a Johnny's Donuts. Get 2. They're only the best donuts I've ever had. Okay, Mr. Wyatt, the Red Zone is on, and you're on fire. Put your John Spytek hat on. He doesn't do it like you, Oracle. You guys are different. Okay, with the pick is in. With the 36th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select
linebacker Jacob Rodriquez out of Texas Tech. Now, this is a guy that is sheer production. He's a guy that I'm super excited about coming out of this draft. And I even think that looking back on this years from now, he could end up being a guy that people thought that should have gone in the first round due to his production and his capabilities on the field. So, not sure if you guys are, but he's a PFF darling, an overall grade of 93, which is the highest out of any linebacker in this draft. And in 2025, he amassed 128 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and most notably to me, 7 forced fumbles along with 4 interceptions. So you talk about a guy that is a natural playmaker, and he creates a lot of disruption on the defensive end. Making a lot of splash plays as well. He has an elite football IQ. As going back to his days in high school, he was a quarterback. So he understands offensive concepts, which I think kind of aligns well with the new coaching regime that they're bringing in. They want to get a guy that is highly productive from day one, that has a high IQ, just a good character on the field. According to Athlon Sports, a quote that they use to describe him as with his play style is that he plays with his hair on fire, which is something that the Raiders haven't really had at that linebacking core over the past couple of seasons. I mean, more than that, honestly, for as long as I can remember. And I feel like just getting a guy like this that can make big plays and just change the overall flow of the game, while also making the little plays as well, as he's an explosive downhill tackler, causing him to be a turnover machine, looking back at his stats at college. He's also an elite.
This right here, he knocks it out. Sorry, Wyatt. But
oh, no, go for it. Yeah.
Just like exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you can't really teach that. I mean, that's just natural instincts that he has. And I think the Raiders defense would really benefit from this. He slots in most naturally at the inside linebacker position, most likely playing the Will or possibly the Mike, just due to how high his IQ is on that defense. He does have some minor athletic limitations, as he's not the fastest guy in the draft. He's not Sonny Styles in terms of combine blowing it out of the water with that, but he just makes all the little plays, and mixed in with all of his forced fumbling technique. I just think it would just be a really good fit for the Raiders. And I was really high on the Texas Tech defense as a whole last season. They have a lot of guys that are projected to go pretty high in the draft. And especially with the new defensive line and, the scheme that they're implementing with the 3-4, I think he could be a really good, high quality rotational starter behind Dean and Walker, and potentially even start within the next year or two. And just, he'll add a little field general capability to the defense as well with Rob Leonard's new scheme.
Oracle, give me your pluses and minuses on this guy.
I'm going to give you a lot of pluses. And Wyatt said minor athletic limitations. Now, I just thought of something. the 4 teams that are in the Final Four of the NFL. Let's go Seahawks, their linebacker, Ernest Jones.
Yeah.
Let's go Patriots, their main linebacker, Robert Spillane. Let's go Broncos, their main linebacker, Alex Singleton. And let's go Rams, their main linebacker, Nate Landman. Were any of those guys first-round picks? No, probably because when they were coming out, they also had minor athletic limitations. But I'm a big believer that instincts are huge when you're looking at linebackers. That's why I really like C.J. Allen, and I really like Jacob Rodriguez. And to me, the linebacker rankings are Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, just because they're freak athletes, beyond freak athletes. But after that, it's C.J. Allen third and Jacob Rodriguez fourth. And I'm a big believer that his production is a result of his instincts right there.
Absolutely.
And I would be ecstatic. Not as ecstatic as C.J. Allen because C.J. Allen's 2 years younger, but I would be ecstatic if the Raiders got Jacob Rodriguez, especially pairing with Fernando Mendoza, 2 guys who are the most athletic, the most productive guys in college football last year.
I love this play right here. Look at this. I love this. Look at that right there. Look at that arm coming in.
Yeah,
I'm with you guys. I love instincts. That's just beauty. You know what? I was really on to this guy early, and the more and more I looked at him, again, I was talking to Wyatt earlier, and I was like, if I could position a guy exactly like Jacob Rodriguez, it would be Zach Thomas back when the Miami, he played for Miami as a middle linebacker. He was so instinctive. He was an undersized middle linebacker that had a nose for the ball. He had a nose to knock the ball out. When there was a fumble, there seemed like he was always around. You can't teach that, man. You can't teach that. You can't put your shorts and shoes and run and jump and show that off. That's on film. And I think this is a great pick for the Raiders at 36 as well. I like every one of them you guys picked tonight. I would be happy. I am off the Lee Hunter bandwagon right now. I believe what Oracle just said with Ernest Jones, Singleton, and those type of linebackers. We want playmakers. We want guys that are the quarterbacks of the defense, and that's your linebacking core. And those are the kind of guys that really do make a difference. They're the ones that are roaming the ball. They make differences when it's good. See Devin White last year when he would rush the passer. And then you would be bad. See Devin White bad when he was in coverage. Wyatt, what kind of coverage does this guy do as a middle linebacker on here? Is he more of a zone man-to-man guy? I mean, because he's a Mike, is he just basically playing a zone?
I think he fits best in that zone. Like you guys hit the nail on the head with his high instincts just kind of match that type of scheme perfectly, in my opinion. And if you think about it like this, it's like they're getting a quarterback for the offense in the first round with Mendoza, as we expect. And then in the second round, they add a linebacker like C.J. Allen or right here like Jacob Rodriguez. You're essentially getting a quarterback for each side of the ball, which I think that just fires me up as a Raiders fan. And I think just getting 2 captains on each side, obviously, Max Crosby's still there, but just getting 2 guys with those types of leadership qualities would just be such a great addition for the Raiders.
Watch his unathletic ability right here. Watch his unathleticism. Yep. Pretty unathletic to me. I like it, guys. I like it a lot. Those are both really, really good picks.
And let me say one more thing. I think getting Allen or Rodriguez will allow Quay Walker to be more of a rusher and be more of an on-the-ball linebacker, which I think would suit his skill set best, because when he has to go backwards and play in coverage, I don't think he's as effective.
And then so we have, not only do we love Johnny's Donuts, we love nepotism in this. My son, Browns with Schwizzer. I know who he was trying to talk about. That's the linebacker that they got from UCLA, the Browns, who was defensive rookie of the year last year. I don't think his name is Schwizzer. But it's something like that. And exactly, Kyle, they got the Browns were very, very lucky to get that linebacker for for them. He was defensive rookie of the year. I'm pretty sure he was defensive rookie of the year. But I think he made a good point, Wyatt. You're gonna take Mendoza as your offensive captain, as your thinker, and then you're gonna either get a linebacker to come in to be your quarterback on the defense. I think that's smart. I think that's smart football. And again, Wyatt, you heard me. You remember Vontez Perfect, I'm sure. You know what I mean? We haven't had anybody to hold our. I'm Mr. Jersey, and I'm going to have a Romanowski jersey. I have a Romanowski jersey, and that's realistically, when was the last time we had a linebacker that we could actually go ahead and buy a jersey from? Ooh.
I genuinely can't remember.
Exactly. That's sad. That's sad. And so I'm with you guys. So we are guys out there. I know you guys are going to go, hey, a lot of you guys don't like it that the show's an hour. We're going to be getting it to right around 45 minutes. And we are at that point. And what I wanted to do now is we just talked about Bill Romanowski. What a prelude to that. Bill Romanowski will be at the Black Hole Sacramento's party, their Super Bowl party. There could be a draft party in Citrus Heights on Madison Avenue, and I think a couple of our guys are going to be there, and Wyatt's possibly going to be there. I'm going to be sending that very much owned Bill Romanowski jersey to Steven Chavez, so I'm going to have Bill Romanowski personally sign it to me, and then I'll put it up in my man cave. But guys, if you're in the Sacramento area, this is at Shenanigans, and again, this is one of the best places to eat food. Their barbecue is amazing. I would love to see some of our guys out there. Wyatt, I would love to see you out there for the Fernando Mendoza party. Can we call it the Fernando Mendoza party? Might as well. And you guys are going to have DJ Real About It. Bill Romanowski, man, that's huge. That place should be pumping, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think, you're just going to have a ton of fun there.
Bill Romanowski, that guy does not pull punches. I wish I could be. I'm going to be there. But my two sons and I will be in Vegas at the Raiders party. If anybody out there is going to be going, please contact me. I have some special stuff for that day. And this is going to be the last melee that we're going to do, April 23rd. On Monday, the week of that, Wyatt and the Red Zone, Mr. Red Zone, Mr. Oracle, and myself, we are going to be doing our draft.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're going to be doing our only Raider draft. I could give a rat's, about other teams. But each of us is going to select 2 players in each round. And we are going to tally, and the winner gets a present.
Ooh.
A present.
There we go.
Is it a Johnny Donuts gift card?
Maybe. Or a Johnny's Donuts shirt. That would be great.
I'll take
That's
that.
what we'll do. The winner gets a Johnny Donuts shirt. There you go. And I already have ones, but I'll buy another one. So we will be on, I don't remember what the date is, but that'll be the Monday. Wyatt, any last words before we go?
No, I think you guys pretty much covered everything. Definitely going to try to pull up to that draft night party, though, for sure.
I want you to check out Zach Thomas and get back with me just so you and I can have off-camera conversation. I think you're going to be blown away. Oracle, any last words? Where's the dog?
The dog was going to be in here right before the show. I think he got a little scared away by the technical difficulties, but instead we got some Georgia Bulldogs to talk about. So we made up for it with Bulldogs instead of Dachshunds.
Georgia Bulldogs. See that, Wyatt? See that? He can just like melee.
Right off the fly. Yeah.
Right off the fly. I'm telling you, he's AI. Wyatt, you'll remember him. Do you remember Mike Mayock?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
My kids say that the Oracle sounds like Mike Mayock.
I can see it. Yeah.
You can see it, huh?
Pretty good comp.
Hopefully I don't draft like him.
No, I hope you don't either. Guys, we will see you next Monday. Awesome job, guys. Great. I mean, any one of those three, I'm real happy with. In fact, those are my final three. So thanks, guys. I'm stealing you for that for my draft. Thanks for doing
there
my
we
work.
go.
We'll work on round 3 next week. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We will talk next week. And thanks for everybody for showing up to Johnny's Donuts Studios. Good night now.
Good night now.
Roethlisberger. Intercepted again. Picked off by Chris Carr. This is a foot race with Roethlisberger. And there he goes.
Have really changed the situation here.
Intercepted. Back for the touchdown.
The Jets could capitalize. Garner. Oh, well, this is going to make everything move. Everything. They're on to Foxborough. Touchdown. Tannehill under pressure, and it's intercepted. Tipped and picked off. Maurice Hurst off to the races. Tannehill cuts him down at about the 25-yard line. What a turn of events for the Raiders. Tim Brown deep for the punt from Hendrick. Comes Raiders. Down at the 18-yard line. Hendrick knew he couldn't get that kickoff and held on to it.
The penalty they spotted at the 7. They hand off, it's Pryor. Lot of real estate to the 30. Pryor is off and running inside Steelers territory.